Welcome to Sleepy Journeys, the podcast designed to lull you into a peaceful slumber with soothing stories through time, places, and ideas. Whether you're winding down after a long day or simply looking for a peaceful escape, you're in the right place. My name's Jack, and I'm so happy to have you here with me. Each night on Sleepy Journeys, we set off together on gentle adventures designed to soothe your mind and ease you into rest. You'll find journeys through history, comforting fairy tales, myths and folklore, the wonders of science, fascinating inventions, inspiring famous figures, music history, and even calm explorations around the world. No matter where your curiosity takes you, there's a dreamy Sleepy Journeys show for you. Tonight, we're going to embark on a gentle journey through Antivenom, from bite to balm. So before you get comfortable, as always, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Also, let us know in the comments where you're watching or listening from and what time it is for you. Now, take a deep breath and let's begin. Imagine yourself standing in a quiet landscape, perhaps at the edge of a softly rustling grassland where the evening light glows faintly gold. Somewhere nearby, a snake glides silently through the grass, its smooth scales catching the last flickers of sunlight. Or perhaps you're in the desert, under a vast sky spangled with stars, where a small scorpion moves carefully across the sand, its tiny claws delicate, its stinger poised but calm. Or maybe you are deep in a humid jungle, where the glow of bioluminescent creatures pulses faintly among the shadows, and tiny insects hum softly through the leaves. These creatures, so often feared, move with a quiet grace through their worlds. For centuries, humans have watched them, sometimes with awe, often with wariness, because they carry something remarkable and dangerous. Venom. Nature's delicate, potent tool, venom is a complex cocktail of molecules, each shaped carefully by evolution, designed for hunting, for defense, for survival. With just a drop, it can bring down prey, ward off predators, or alter the balance of a delicate ecological dance. But where there is danger, there is also wonder. And over time, humans have learned not only to fear venom, but to understand it, to study its properties, to unlock its secrets, and most importantly, to transform it into something healing. From the deadly edge of nature's sharpest weapons, we have shaped one of science's quiet triumphs, antivenom. Tonight, we'll drift softly through the story of antivenom, how it works, where it comes from, and the delicate balance between poison and cure. We'll wander through ancient remedies and early folk treatments, where healers and shamans tried to soothe bites with herbs, charms, or whispers. We'll step gently into the lives of scientists who unlocked the secrets of antibodies and immunity, and who paved the way for life-saving treatments. We'll explore the careful, patient work of collecting venom, of transforming it through laboratory care, and of delivering it to people who need it most. Along the way, we'll visit faraway places where venomous creatures live, deserts, jungles, forests, and oceans, letting their quiet, hidden lives unfold before us like a soft tapestry. We'll pause to reflect on the future, where synthetic solutions and surprising new medicines are being shaped from venom's secrets, promising new ways to heal. And we'll rest in the gentle, human side of this story. The survivors, the caretakers, the quiet workers whose hands turn a deadly bite into a balm. As you settle more deeply into your bed, feeling the soft support beneath you, the coolness of the pillow, the hush of the room, let the weight of the day begin to slip away. Let the images drift softly in your mind, a glint of scales in moonlight, the soft pulse of laboratory machines, the careful touch of hands shaping antibodies, the steady breath of someone recovering, safe and still. Together, we'll step softly into the world of Antivenom, moving slowly through its stories, its wonders, its quiet marvels. There is no need to hurry, no need to hold on to every word. Let your mind drift gently, let your breath slow, and let the quiet journey begin. The natural world moves with quiet complexity, a delicate balance of survival, adaptation, and coexistence. Among its most intriguing designs are those creatures that carry venom, animals that have, over millions of years, developed precise chemical tools to hunt, defend, and survive. These creatures, often feared and misunderstood, are part of an ancient biological dialogue where every molecule serves a purpose, every drop of venom shaped for efficiency and effect. Tonight, we step gently into this hidden world, not as fearful intruders, but as soft-footed wanderers, observing with wonder and respect. Let's take a slow, thoughtful journey into the realm of venom, exploring its forms, its functions, and the delicate artistry that lies within. Imagine yourself in a quiet, sunlit meadow where the grasses sway gently in the breeze. Somewhere nearby, you catch a flicker of motion, the smooth, gliding form of a snake weaving through the undergrowth. Its scales glisten softly, and its movement is fluid, graceful, unhurried. Snakes, perhaps more than any other venomous creatures, stir both fear and fascination. Yet their venom is not designed for aggression. It is a carefully evolved tool, crafted to serve very specific roles in their lives. Some snakes, like vipers and rattlesnakes, produce hemotoxic venom, a mixture that destroys blood cells, disrupts clotting, and damages tissue. Others, like cobras or coral snakes, carry neurotoxic venom that targets the nervous system, causing paralysis or interfering with the signals between nerves and muscles. Each type of venom is a biological masterpiece, shaped by the snake's ecological needs. Hemotoxins are especially useful for subduing larger prey, breaking down tissues and starting the digestive process before the snake even swallows its meal. Neurotoxins, on the other hand, work quickly, immobilizing small, fast-moving prey, like lizards or birds, ensuring they cannot escape. What's remarkable is the precision with which snakes manage their venom. They don't simply flood every bite with toxins. They regulate the amount of venom they inject, depending on whether they are hunting or defending themselves. Defensive bites often use less venom, or none at all, a so-called dry bite, conserving this valuable resource for times of true need. As you walk softly beside this imagined snake, you feel no fear. You see the creature's tongue flicker in and out, tasting the air, reading its surroundings. You sense its place in the world. A predator, yes, but also prey. A quiet participant in the balance of life, shaped by countless generations to be precisely what it is. Now, let's drift gently away from the meadow, to a moonlit desert where the sand glows pale under a canopy of stars. Here, among the rocks and sparse plants, we find other venomous marvels, spiders and scorpions, creatures small in size but extraordinary in design. Picture a scorpion, its body low to the ground, its delicate legs moving carefully across the sand. Its tail arches gracefully overhead, tipped with a sharp, curved stinger. Inside that stinger is a complex venom, designed to subdue prey or deter predators. Scorpion venom contains a mixture of neurotoxins, enzymes, and peptides, each component working in harmony to achieve its purpose, whether paralyzing a small insect or delivering a painful warning to a larger threat. Nearby, under a rocky outcrop, a spider rests in its web. Not all spiders use venom, but many, especially hunters like the black widow or funnel web, have developed highly specialized toxins that act quickly and precisely. Some spider venoms target ion channels in nerve cells, disrupting communication and immobilizing prey almost instantly. Others include digestive enzymes that begin breaking down tissue even before the spider takes its first bite. What's most fascinating is the diversity of these venoms. Even among closely related species, the exact cocktail of toxins can vary dramatically, fine-tuned by evolution to match the particular challenges of their environment. A desert scorpion's venom is not the same as a rainforest spider's. Each has been shaped over millennia to match its prey, its habitat, and its ecological role. As you imagine watching these creatures under the stars, you feel a quiet sense of awe. There is no malice in their design, no cruelty in their sting. They are, like the snake, participants in an ancient, ongoing dance, surviving, adapting, balancing the needs of life with the resources of the world around them. Across the globe, venom has appeared in many forms and many species, a fascinating example of convergent evolution where different creatures, in different places, arrive at similar solutions to life's challenges. In the oceans, cone snails deploy a venomous harpoon to catch prey, using a mix of neurotoxins that can paralyze fish in an instant. In the treetops, certain caterpillars carry stinging spines laced with venom, protecting them from predators with a sharp, painful warning. Even among mammals, we find examples: the platypus, with its venomous spur, or the shrew, whose bite contains mild toxins used to subdue insects. Each of these examples tells a story of survival, of adaptation, of balance. Venom is a tool, yes, but it is also a conversation between predator and prey, a shaping force within ecosystems, a factor that maintains diversity and harmony across the living world. As you imagine walking softly through these varied landscapes, deserts, jungles, oceans, forests, you notice how each venomous creature fits perfectly into its ecological niche. None is excessive, none is wasteful. Together, they weave a tapestry of interactions, a delicate network of life and death, threat and defense, movement and stillness. You pause, taking a long, slow breath. In the quiet of this imagined world, you feel a sense of deep calm settle over you. There is wonder here, and artistry, in every molecule, in every adaptation, in every carefully shaped drop of venom. And you understand now that to know these creatures, to truly see them, is not to fear them, but to appreciate their place in the beautiful, intricate puzzle of life. With each breath, you let the wonder sink in a little deeper, wrapping you softly in stillness, preparing you to drift further, gently, into the unfolding journey. For as long as venomous creatures have existed, humans have lived alongside them, sometimes in fear, sometimes in fascination, but often in search of ways to heal the wounds they leave behind. The history of antivenom is not just a story of modern science. It is a tale of observation, tradition, curiosity, and eventual discovery. Tonight, we wander softly through this long and patient journey, from ancient folk remedies to the quiet breakthroughs of modern laboratories, feeling the slow pulse of human understanding as it unfolds. Imagine yourself in a small, ancient village, perhaps set at the edge of a desert, deep within a jungle, or along a rocky coastline. The air is warm and still. A villager rushes in, clutching a limb, a snakebite darkening the skin. There are no doctors here, no modern hospitals, only the healer's knowledge, passed down through generations, drawn carefully from the rhythms of the land. Across time and cultures, healers and shamans developed remedies to ease the pain and danger of venom. In many places, herbal poultices were applied to wounds, believed to draw out toxins. Roots, leaves, and minerals were crushed and made into powders or pastes, spread onto bites or taken internally in the hope of neutralizing poison. Tourniquets were tied to slow the spread of venom. Cuts were sometimes made on the skin to release the toxin. Practices we now know could sometimes do more harm than good. In India, detailed Ayurvedic texts describe the use of particular herbs and rituals to address snake bites, emphasizing balance in the body and mind. In African traditions, healers crafted layered treatments from local plants and barks, sometimes pairing them with spiritual rituals to calm and strengthen the patient. In the Americas, indigenous peoples used plants known to reduce swelling or slow heart rate, combining physical treatments with prayers or songs to guide the healing process. These early remedies were not always effective, and outcomes varied widely. But what they reflected was a deeply human instinct, the desire to intervene, to help, to soften nature's sharpest edges with whatever tools were available. Even when treatments were imperfect, the act of care itself brought comfort, offering hope in the face of danger. You pause in this imagined world, standing beside a healer as they lean gently over their patient, applying a poultice, whispering soft reassurances. Around them, others gather, watching, waiting, offering quiet support. There is no laboratory here, no microscope, no synthetic drugs, but there is patience, attentiveness, and the steady, enduring effort to heal. Now, let's drift forward in time to the 19th century, a moment of transformation, when science began to reveal the hidden workings of the body, unlocking secrets that had been mysteries for centuries. Among these discoveries was the understanding of how the body defends itself and how that knowledge could be harnessed to create treatments for some of nature's most dangerous challenges. Scientists studying diseases and infections realized that the immune system produces powerful molecules called antibodies, designed to neutralize harmful invaders. When it came to venom, they saw an opportunity. If animals could survive small, repeated doses, they would build up antibodies in their blood, and those antibodies could be collected, purified, and used to help others. French scientist Albert Calmet is often credited with creating one of the first successful antivenoms in the 1890s, using horses to generate antibodies against cobra venom. The process required delicate, incremental work, injecting small amounts of venom into the animal, allowing its immune system to respond, and then harvesting the antibody-rich serum from its blood. This approach, known as passive immunization, opened the door to a wave of life-saving treatments. Researchers in Australia developed antivenoms for taipans and brown snakes. Scientists in Brazil worked on treatments for pit vipers and coral snakes. African teams focused on mambas and puff adders. Asian researchers on cobras, kraits, and vipers. Each antivenom had to be specific, carefully matched to the exact venom it was meant to counteract, a painstaking process that demanded precision, patience, and deep collaboration. As you imagine standing quietly in one of those early laboratories, you see glass vials lined up neatly on wooden benches, researchers hunched over their notes, the gentle flicker of oil lamps casting shadows on the walls. There is a quiet determination in the room, not frantic, not hurried, but steady, focused, guided by the hope of saving lives. The development of antivenom wasn't just a medical achievement. It became a global effort, a network of labs, hospitals, farms, and field workers, all connected by the shared mission of healing. Horses and sheep were often used to generate antibodies, their care critical to the production process. Teams of venom experts, sometimes called venom wranglers, carefully extracted tiny amounts of venom from snakes, spiders, scorpions, and other creatures, providing the raw materials for research. And then there were the doctors and nurses on the front lines, administering antivenom to patients often brought in from rural or remote regions, where access to treatment was limited. These quiet heroes worked tirelessly, navigating logistical challenges, resource shortages, and the delicate task of dosing antivenom correctly, balancing its benefits against potential allergic reactions. Even today, access to antivenom remains a global challenge. In many parts of the world, particularly rural Africa and Asia, snakebites continue to claim tens of thousands of lives each year, and efforts are ongoing to improve the availability, affordability, and effectiveness of treatments. Researchers are exploring new production methods, synthetic alternatives, and regional partnerships to ensure that life-saving care reaches those who need it most. You pause now, imagining a quiet field in Costa Rica or India, where horses graze peacefully, their role in this global healing effort humble but profound. You picture a laboratory technician carefully drawing serum, a doctor administering a vial of antivenom, a patient resting safely after the crisis has passed. There is a sense of continuity here, from the folk healers of the past to the scientists of today, from the early trial and error remedies to the precise, targeted treatments of modern medicine. As you take a long, slow breath, you feel a gentle gratitude settle over you for the generations of minds and hands who worked, quietly and patiently, to turn a deadly bite into a balm. You let that gratitude wrap softly around you, holding you in calm, preparing you to drift onward, deeper into the unfolding story. We've traveled softly through the history of healing, from ancient folk treatments to the birth of antivenom science. Now, let's slow down and step gently into the process itself, the delicate dance between venom and cure, the quiet marvel of how a deadly substance is transformed into a life-saving balm. Imagine walking slowly into a specialized room where the air is still, the lights bright but soft. On a table rests a small, clear dish. Across the room, an experienced handler gently lifts a snake from its enclosure, holding it with practiced, steady hands. The snake is calm but alert, its muscles flexing lightly as it feels the touch, its tongue flickering to taste the air. This is the start of antivenom, collecting the venom itself. Known as milking, this process is done with care and respect, designed not to harm the animal, but to gather the small, precious droplets needed for research and production. For a snake, the handler carefully encourages it to bite a thin membrane stretched over a sterile container. The fangs sink in, and tiny amounts of venom are released, glistening like pale gold or faintly pearlescent liquid. Scorpions, spiders, and other venomous creatures require similarly careful handling. Technicians may use gentle electrical stimulation to encourage the release of venom, always ensuring that the creatures are treated humanely and safely. Each drop is carefully collected, labeled, and stored under precise conditions, ready to be used in the next step of the journey. You watch quietly, feeling no fear, only a quiet sense of wonder at the delicate precision unfolding before you. Each creature, each handler, each container of venom is part of a global network, a system designed not to exploit nature, but to understand it, to transform its sharpest weapons into tools for healing. Now, we drift into the next stage, transforming that venom into antivenom. Imagine standing softly in a laboratory where rows of glass vials gleam under gentle lights, and scientists in white coats move carefully through their tasks. The process begins by introducing tiny, controlled amounts of venom into an animal host, usually a horse or a sheep. These animals are chosen because they can handle the gradual buildup of antibodies, and because they are cared for under strict ethical guidelines, ensuring their safety and well-being. Over weeks and months, the animal's immune system learns to recognize the venom's molecules, responding by producing specific antibodies. These antibodies are proteins designed to bind to the venom and neutralize its harmful effects. Once the animal has built up a strong antibody response, small amounts of blood are drawn, a process done carefully, ensuring the animal is not harmed or stressed. The collected blood is then taken to a purification lab where it undergoes a series of gentle, precise steps. Scientists separate the plasma, extract the antibodies, and refine them to create a serum that can be safely injected into human patients. This serum is what we know as antivenom, a medicine designed not to kill venom, but to bind it, deactivate it, and help the body clear it safely. As you stand in this imagined lab, you can hear the soft hum of machines, the faint clink of glass, the careful movements of hands guided by years of training. There is no rush here, no noise, only the quiet rhythm of science at work, unfolding slowly, patiently, with the goal of saving lives. What's fascinating is how specific antivenoms need to be. A serum made for cobra venom won't help against a rattlesnake bite. An antivenom designed for scorpions won't work on spider venom. This specificity comes from the unique makeup of each creature's toxins, requiring scientists to create targeted treatments matched precisely to the challenge at hand. In some cases, polyvalent antivenoms are developed, mixtures designed to cover several related species at once, especially useful in regions where identifying the exact biting creature may be difficult. These broad-spectrum solutions are incredibly valuable, particularly in rural or resource-limited settings, where time is critical and exact identification may not be possible. Around the world, specialized facilities, from Brazil's Butantan Institute to Costa Rica's Clodomiro Picado Institute, from India's Hafkin Institute to Australia's Commonwealth Serum Laboratories, work quietly and steadily, producing antivenoms tailored to the needs of their regions. These institutions are part of a larger global web, sharing research, improving safety, and working tirelessly to ensure that life-saving treatments reach those who need them most. You pause here, reflecting on the long chain of care involved, the venom collectors, the scientists, the animal caretakers, the doctors and nurses, the logisticians who transport vials across continents. Each person, each role, adds a small, quiet piece to the puzzle, creating a system of healing built not on speed or force, but on precision, patience, and hope. As you breathe slowly, you feel the quiet marvel of this process settle into your mind. What began as a tiny, glistening drop of venom, once a symbol of danger, is now a soft, healing serum, shaped by hands and minds working carefully over time. You let the image drift softly through you. The careful milking of a snake, the calm gaze of a horse grazing in a sunlit field, the quiet hum of a lab preparing vials, the relieved breath of a patient recovering in a hospital bed. With each breath, you feel a little more deeply connected to this delicate dance between nature and science, between harm and healing, between bite and balm. And as we prepare to move gently onward in our journey, you carry with you the soft wonder of this remarkable process, knowing that even the sharpest threats can be met with careful, thoughtful grace. Across the planet, from deserts to jungles, mountains to coastlines, the world of venom stretches far and wide, and so does the network of people, institutions, and quiet efforts working to understand it, manage it, and heal those it touches. Let's take a slow, gentle journey through this global web, exploring the creatures, the challenges, and the dedicated humans who keep the delicate balance of life and medicine moving forward. Imagine drifting softly over a world map, your gaze moving calmly from continent to continent. In Africa, you see the sinuous shape of the black mamba, one of the fastest and deadliest snakes on Earth. Its venom, a powerful neurotoxin. Nearby, puff adders rest quietly in the underbrush, their hemotoxic venom capable of causing severe tissue damage. You float onward to Asia, where cobras spread their hoods in slow, graceful displays. Kraits hunt at night, and Russell's vipers move silently through grassy fields. Each carries a venom shaped by millennia, a chemical key designed to fit the precise lock of its prey or predator. Further east in Australia, the continent's reputation for venomous life is well earned. The inland taipan, often called the world's most venomous snake, the stonefish, lying hidden on the ocean floor, its spines packed with potent toxins. The tiny blue-ringed octopus, flashing iridescent rings as a warning before delivering a venomous bite. Break. Time 1.0. Even the funnel-web spider, small but fierce, has a bite that requires swift medical attention. You drift now to the Americas, where rattlesnakes coil under rocks, coral snakes flash bands of red, yellow, and black, and Brazilian wandering spiders weave their webs in quiet corners. In the deserts, scorpions raise their curved tails. In the rainforests, brightly colored frogs secrete toxins through their skin. Along the coastlines, cone snails hide among coral reefs, their venomous harpoons ready. Each region, each ecosystem, carries its own cast of venomous characters, creatures not to be feared, but understood, respected, and studied. Together, they form a global mosaic of evolutionary marvels, each one a living puzzle, each one holding secrets that science is still gently, patiently unlocking. Now, let's shift softly from the creatures to the humans, the quiet, interconnected network that spans countries and continents, working tirelessly to produce, distribute, and deliver antivenom where it's needed most. You begin in a laboratory, perhaps in Costa Rica, where the Clodomiro Picado Institute produces antivenoms for many Latin American countries. Here, scientists, veterinarians, and technicians work side by side, milking venom, raising antibody-producing horses, refining serum, and preparing vials for shipment. Every step is carefully calibrated, ensuring that each dose is pure, effective, and ready for use. From the lab, the antivenom travels, packed in coolers, loaded onto trucks, planes, or boats, crossing borders and navigating customs, guided by a complex web of logistical expertise. In Africa, the challenge is often not just producing antivenom, but ensuring it reaches remote villages, where snakebites are common and healthcare access limited. In Southeast Asia, efforts are underway to improve storage and distribution in hot, humid climates, where refrigeration can be scarce. International organizations like the World Health Organization and Médecins Sans Frontières play a critical role in coordinating these efforts, partnering with local governments, research centers, and pharmaceutical companies to ensure that life-saving treatments don't sit unused in warehouses or get lost in bureaucratic tangles. And then, at the final stop, there are the doctors, nurses, and field medics, the people who stand at the bedside, who mix the vials, who monitor patients closely as the antivenom flows into their veins. These caregivers, often working under pressure in resource-limited settings, are the last vital link in the chain, the ones whose calm hands and sharp eyes turn the potential of the medicine into real, living rescue. Yet even with this global web, challenges remain. Antivenom is expensive to produce and often tailored to specific species, making it difficult to stock every clinic with every needed variety. Some rural hospitals struggle with outdated supplies or face delays in delivery. Researchers and policymakers continue to search for solutions, improving supply chains, developing synthetic or broad-spectrum antivenoms, expanding local production capacity, and strengthening public health systems to ensure timely care. You imagine now the quiet rooms where these efforts unfold, the policy meetings, the field clinics, the small dedicated labs in countries like Kenya, Papua New Guinea, and Thailand. There is no glamour here, no loud announcements, just steady, determined work, carried out by people who know that each dose, each delivery, each vial carried over a dirt road or across an ocean represents a life that might be saved. And there's more. The scientific collaborations that stretch across borders, the shared databases of venom composition, the joint research projects seeking new ways to understand the molecular dance between venom and blood. In this space, knowledge itself becomes a kind of medicine, a tool to improve, to refine, to reach more people with greater speed and precision. As you breathe slowly, you let the vastness of this network settle softly in your mind. From the smallest village to the busiest research lab, from the tiniest vial of venom to the largest batch of antivenom serum, a delicate global choreography unfolds, one built not on force, but on patience, precision, and quiet care. You imagine a map dotted with lights, each point representing a person, a lab, a clinic, a patient, a healer. You trace the lines between them, the paths that cross oceans, forests, deserts, and mountains, connecting effort to effort, hand to hand, life to life. With each breath, you feel the wonder of this global web, the way it holds, quietly and persistently, the potential to turn even nature's sharpest threats into moments of grace, of healing, of hope. And as we prepare to move onward in our journey, you carry with you the gentle awe of this interconnected world, where the bite of a snake or the sting of a scorpion is met not with fear, but with care, determination, and the soft, persistent strength of human ingenuity. While antivenom has saved countless lives over the past century, the work of innovation continues quietly, steadily, like a river flowing forward through time. Scientists and researchers around the world are looking to the future, asking, how can we make these treatments safer, more accessible, more affordable? Can we move beyond traditional methods to create new solutions drawn from nature, from technology, even from plants and synthetic materials? Tonight, let's wander softly through the frontier of venom research, feeling the gentle pulse of curiosity and hope that guides this evolving field. Imagine standing in a quiet laboratory where researchers move carefully among rows of gleaming machines and softly humming computers. Here, scientists are working to create synthetic antivenoms, treatments that do not rely on animal-derived antibodies, but instead are crafted using advanced biotechnological methods. Traditional antivenoms, as we've seen, depend on horses or sheep to produce antibodies, a process that is time-consuming, costly, and sometimes prone to allergic reactions in patients. Synthetic approaches aim to bypass these limitations, using monoclonal antibodies, lab-made molecules designed to target venom toxins precisely, without the variability or impurities that can come from animal blood. Monoclonal antibodies have already transformed treatments for diseases like cancer and autoimmune disorders, and now they offer promise in the world of venom too. With their precise targeting, they could neutralize specific toxins more efficiently, requiring lower doses and reducing the risk of side effects. Alongside synthetic innovations, researchers are also exploring plant-based solutions. Certain plants contain compounds that may block venom's effects or slow its spread, offering a potential first aid treatment that could be applied quickly after a bite or sting, even before reaching a hospital. Indigenous knowledge has long pointed to plants with healing properties, and modern science is now investigating these clues with careful, rigorous study. You imagine wandering softly through a research greenhouse where delicate plants grow under dappled light. Scientists move among the leaves, collecting samples, testing extracts, searching patiently for the molecules that might one day become new medicines. There is no rush here, no loud announcement, just the slow, deliberate unfolding of possibility. Now let's drift gently into an even wider space, the realm where venom research reaches beyond antivenom, offering insights into entirely new areas of medicine. Venom, after all, is a precision tool. It targets specific receptors, channels, and pathways in the body, often with exquisite accuracy. For scientists, this makes it a treasure trove of potential, a natural library of molecules that can be studied, modified, and harnessed for entirely new purposes. Consider the cone snail, a tiny marine creature whose venom contains compounds capable of blocking certain pain pathways. Researchers have turned these molecules into a powerful, non-opioid painkiller, offering relief to patients with chronic pain. Or think of the venom from certain snakes, which has inspired blood-thinning drugs used to treat heart attacks and strokes. Even the venom of the Gila monster, a desert-dwelling lizard, has led to a medication that helps regulate blood sugar in people with diabetes. These discoveries unfold quietly, patiently, often taking decades of research to come to fruition. Yet they remind us of something profound, that even nature's most dangerous tools can hold healing within them if we take the time to listen, to learn, to work with care. As you walk softly through this imagined space, a world where venom shapes not only antivenoms, but entirely new treatments, you feel a sense of gentle wonder. You see the scientists, the researchers, the teams working quietly across disciplines, sharing knowledge, building bridges between biology, chemistry, medicine, and technology. You sense the quiet excitement that fills their days, the slow, patient joy of discovery, of possibility unfolding like the petals of a delicate flower. the future of venom research holds even more possibilities. Advances in genetic engineering, nanotechnology, and data science are opening doors that once seemed impossible. Could we one day design universal antivenoms that work against multiple types of venom, regardless of the species? Could wearable biosensors detect venom in the bloodstream and deliver treatments automatically? Could we use machine learning to predict venom interactions, designing drugs more quickly and efficiently than ever before? These are the questions researchers are quietly exploring, step by step, often in small labs and under tight budgets, guided by a sense of purpose that stretches far beyond individual careers. Each discovery adds a thread to the tapestry, strengthening the global network of care and possibility, making it just a little easier for the next patient, the next doctor, the next community to find help, healing, and hope. You breathe in slowly, letting the scale of this work settle gently into your mind. You picture the children who might one day receive a painless, allergy-free antivenom, the rural clinics that might have access to shelf-stable treatments requiring no refrigeration, the ecosystems that might be better understood and protected through careful venom research. And you feel a deep, quiet appreciation for the countless, often unseen hands moving this work forward, the people whose patient curiosity, careful attention, and determined kindness shape a future where the bite of a snake, the sting of a scorpion, or the touch of a venomous creature need not end in tragedy, but instead in healing, resilience, and life. With each breath, you let the promise of this future wrap softly around you, preparing you to drift onward, gently, into the next part of our journey. Behind every vial of antivenom, behind every scientific paper or laboratory breakthrough, there are people, quiet figures whose lives are touched, shaped, or saved by this remarkable science. Tonight, we slow our steps even more, turning toward the human side of this story, the survivors, the caregivers, the healers, and the quiet workers whose efforts, often unseen, weave the delicate net that catches those in need. Imagine a small clinic on the edge of a forested village. A young child is carried in, pale, sweating, her legs swollen from a snakebite received while playing near the trees. The doctor, calm but focused, examines the bite, asks soft questions, prepares a dose of antivenom. The family waits anxiously, holding each other's hands, whispering prayers. Hours pass, each minute heavy with worry, until slowly the swelling begins to ease. The child stirs, her breathing steadies, her face softens into sleep. The sigh of relief that fills the room is deep and full, a wave of gratitude washing over everyone present. This is just one story, but it echoes across the world. In India, a farmer bitten by a cobra survives because a neighbor rushes him to a hospital where antivenom is available. In sub-Saharan Africa, a mother of 3 survives a puff adder bite thanks to a traveling medical team carrying precious, temperature-sensitive vials. In rural Australia, a swimmer stung by a deadly jellyfish is stabilized with antivenom before being flown to safety. Each of these stories carries not just the medical facts, but the emotional journey, the fear, the hope, the trust in the hands of caregivers, and the promise of science. And each survivor becomes a quiet testimony to the strength of the human spirit and the power of collective effort. As you imagine these moments, you feel the emotions settle softly into your own chest, not sharp or overwhelming, but gentle, grounding, connecting you to a shared human experience that stretches across borders, languages, and time. Now, let's turn gently toward the people who make this work possible: the anti-venom makers, the lab technicians, the venom collectors, the veterinarians, the supply coordinators, the community health workers. Imagine a venom milker, coaxing tiny drops of poison from the fangs of a snake, hands steady, movements precise, the room quiet except for the soft rustle of scales and breath. This work, repeated daily, builds the raw materials for life-saving treatments. In another room, animal caretakers gently tend to horses or sheep that produce antibodies. They brush the animals' coats, check their hooves, ensure they are fed and rested. Their work is not often seen or praised, yet without them, the chain of care would break. Further along the chain, scientists in laboratories perform delicate extractions and purifications, working carefully to remove impurities and ensure each vial of serum meets rigorous safety standards. Then come the logistics teams, who manage cold storage, coordinate shipments, and navigate customs and delivery challenges, often across complex and unpredictable routes. Finally, on the ground, there are the healthcare providers, nurses, doctors, paramedics, and outreach workers, many in under-resourced or remote settings, who administer treatments, monitor reactions, and provide calm, competent care in moments of crisis. Each of these people plays a part, a quiet, essential note in the symphony of healing. And while their names may not be known to the public, their collective impact stretches far, touching lives, families, and communities in ways that ripple outward, softly but powerfully. As you breathe slowly, you reflect on how deeply interconnected this work is. No one person alone can make, deliver, or administer antivenom. It is a shared endeavor, shaped by hands and hearts around the world, each adding a small but vital piece. You picture a meeting between international researchers, sharing data and findings, brainstorming solutions. You imagine local community leaders working with health organizations to spread awareness about venomous bites and the importance of seeking help. You see families in rural areas supporting one another, helping transport loved ones to distant clinics, carrying hope alongside worry. And you recognize, too, the importance of ongoing advocacy, the activists, policymakers, and organizations pushing to make antivenom more available, more affordable, more equitable. Their work ensures that life-saving care doesn't remain the privilege of a few, but reaches as many people as possible across all corners of the globe. In this space of reflection, you feel a gentle, humbling awareness settle around you. You are part of this world too, connected through the quiet thread of shared humanity, the universal longing for safety, for healing, for the chance to face another day with gratitude and peace. As we prepare to leave this part of our journey, you take a long, slow breath, letting the human side of antivenom settle softly into your heart. You hold the image of survivors resting safely, of workers moving quietly through their tasks, of doctors and nurses offering steady, compassionate care. With each breath, you let the weight of gratitude deepen, not heavy, but grounding, anchoring you in the calm knowledge that across the world, even in the face of sharpest danger, there is kindness, there is effort, there is hope. And as we prepare for the final part of tonight's journey, you are carried gently forward by this quiet, enduring thread of human connection. Section 3. Gentle. Wind down. We have traveled a long, quiet path tonight, from the first delicate flicker of a snake's tongue through the golden grasses, to the hush of ancient folk healers mixing herbal poultices, to the calm hands of modern scientists refining life-saving antivenoms. Now, as we come to the end of our journey, let's slow down even more, allowing the soft reflections to settle gently into stillness. Imagine yourself standing once more at the edge of a vast, open landscape, perhaps under a starlit desert sky where the sands cool slowly as night deepens. Somewhere in the distance, a scorpion moves carefully over the rocks, its tail raised, its tiny body glinting faintly under the moon. You watch from a safe distance, feeling no fear, only a quiet, deep respect for the small creature and the world it inhabits. The air here is calm, the night stretching wide and soft. You breathe in slowly, letting the coolness fill your lungs, feeling the quiet weight of the earth beneath your feet. Somewhere nearby, a breeze moves softly through dry grasses, carrying the faintest scent of stone and sand. Overhead, stars drift silently, their light gentle and constant, painting the sky with delicate patterns of silver. As you close your eyes, you let your mind wander back over the journey we've taken. You remember the precision of a snake's venom, designed not for cruelty but for survival, part of a delicate balance that has shaped the natural world for millions of years. You reflect on the careful, patient work of healers past and present, the early folk treatments, the breakthrough of antibodies, the quiet marvel of modern labs transforming venom into medicine. You recall the global network of care and collaboration, the countless hands and hearts working steadily to ensure that even the sharpest dangers can be met with calm, thoughtful healing. With each slow breath, you let these images drift softly through you, not clinging to them, but letting them pass like clouds across a quiet sky. You imagine the survivors, the child whose fever has broken, the farmer who wakes in a hospital bed, the hiker who walks again along a sandy shore, and you feel a gentle, grounding sense of connection. In this space, there is no need to rush, no need to worry. You are held gently by the soft, steady rhythms of life, the careful work of human hands, the quiet pulse of nature, the enduring possibility of healing. You breathe in slowly, feeling the cool night air wrap around you like a soft blanket, holding you in safety, in calm, in peace. The world around you softens, the edges of thought blurring gently. The stars overhead shimmer faintly, their light ancient and kind. The small creatures of the night go about their lives. The earth turns slowly, and you, here, in this quiet moment, are free to let go, to rest, to drift softly into sleep. Thank you for joining me on tonight's journey. I hope it brought you a little peace, a little wonder, and a little closer to rest. Until next time, sweet dreams.